Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic Puzzle Quest video. In today's video, I want to showcase my favorite deck that I've been playing over the past month. So, let's get into it. Really quick note at the start of the video, I know that the audio quality gets a little bit weird at the beginning, and that's because my recording program decided to default to my camera as a microphone, as opposed to my recording microphone as a microphone. So the recording quality of the audio for the first bit of this video isn't exactly what I'd want, but I really liked the take, so I'm going to be keeping it. Anyways, now the video. I've been recovering from surgery, so I just hit my 1 month marker, and I have finally gotten clearance to just like sit in a chair and do things in a chair. So finally I'm back at my desk. I'm able to start recording again, which is very exciting for me. But having had all that time in bed, I had some time to play games, and as a result, I played a fair amount of Puzzle Quest, and I played this one deck a ton. It went through a few different iterations, and then with the inclusion of an exclusive that came out not too long ago, it kind of perfected the deck for me. I recognize that the deck is not new player friendly. Most people watching the video probably will not be able to make this deck right away, but just if you wind up getting some of the pieces for this, or maybe this winds up giving you an idea for a deck for yourself, by all means go ahead and give it a shot, because for me, at least over the past month, this has been the most fun way to play Puzzle Quest. So it starts with Chandra Flameshaper. Chandra Flameshaper is a planeswalker that came out not too long ago, and when she came out, I wasn't too high on her because I really didn't like her abilities. But her passive was just such an incredibly strong passive that for some reason I felt like I had to go back to her. So Chandra Flameshaper has a passive that makes it so that at the beginning of your turn, you're going to convert 3 gems to red, and then you can hand filter. So you can discard a card, it's whatever the last card in your hand is, and if you do, you draw a card. You don't have to do that, so like let's say you have a Dragonhawk down and it gives you a free card at the end of your turn, and you don't want to discard that free card, you don't have to do it. But what I really like about this is turn 1, before you even go, 3 gems are automatically converted to red. Then if you look at your hand, you can't like see the cards, but you can see like if they're creatures or spells or supports. And you're feeling like, oh, I really want to have a creature in my hand. And the second card in your hand is not a creature, you can just immediately filter it. And you can do that the whole game. And so honestly, Chandra's passive is kind of like a lot of Planeswalkers' first abilities on steroids, in that you don't have to pay any loyalty and you just passively get it every turn. Having a +5/+4/3 mana spread to red, black, and green is okay, but really you're going to be getting so many gems converted to red with this Planeswalker, just because of the passive, that you're able to make these hyper-fast decks that never really stall out, because the filtering that you're going to be getting by discarding and drawing cards, and the conversion that you're going to be getting from the passive, just makes this, to me, the most consistently fast red Planeswalker in the game. And red is all about aggro, and at least for me with paper Magic, I love playing aggro. So this Planeswalker is absolutely essential for this deck. She's very fun. She's not the best Planeswalker in the game, but for me right now, she's the most fun Planeswalker in the game. Now, in terms of her abilities, her first ability is Solid Butts. You discard a spell at random, you don't get to pick which one, and then the first 2 cards in your hand are going to gain 6 mana. If you don't have a spell that you can discard, then you just get 6 mana. So, I mean, you can get mana out of it, which, you know, is okay. But potentially discarding spells is not my favorite. Still, there are times in which this comes very handy, because maybe you just want to play a card that turn that's going to enable you to win the game, or maybe your opponent's played something nasty and you have multiple removal spells in your hand and you just need a little bit more mana, so you can tinker around with it. I very rarely use the first ability, but it's there and it has uses every now and then. Spreading a Wildfire, the second ability, is actually a lot more solid than I initially gave it credit for, because this ability enables you to just win the game in 1 turn. So like pretty much the moment that I get that second ability, Spreading a Wildfire, I wind up winning the game. Now, reinforcing a creature you control 4 times is not, like, in and of itself a massive boost, but with the other cards that I'm going to be showing you that are in this deck, it turns into something that is super massive. Now, if you don't wind up killing your opponent that turn, it's probably not a good ability to use, because whatever creature you give that to is going to gain imminent death, meaning that at the end of your turn, it's going to lose a reinforcement. At the end of your opponent's turn, it's going to lose a reinforcement. And it's just going to keep on losing those reinforcements, and it's going to disappear really fast. Lastly, the third ability is going to destroy all creatures and all non-land supports and do damage to your opponent equal to 3 times the number of creatures in all graveyards. Now, this ability can actually wind up saving you from losing games sometimes in the event that your opponent just winds up accelerating super duper fast. And then because with this Planeswalker, you're going to be running bonus conversion anyways because you want to convert and light the whole world red anyways in a spreading wildfire of gooey gooey goodness. But 25 loyalty is a bit extreme. I wish that they didn't make this third ability 25 loyalty. I wish that it was like 18, just like spreading a wildfire, even if they wanted to make it like a little bit more, 19 or 20 or whatever, just to make it so that it was more than spreading a wildfire. Cool. But nonetheless, having World Wipe in your kit is always a useful thing. 25 loyalty makes it painful. So this Planeswalker has definite flaws. However, the passive is A-game amazing. Now, this is enough of me rambling about the Planeswalker, yada yada. Let's show you the deck. I wound up writing "wee" for the deck because that's just sort of how I feel when I play it. Unfortunately, I can't use exclamation marks at the end of "wee" because the game doesn't let me, so screw you, game. But whatever. Maybe this is something that Webcore will change someday. I feel like this is probably the highest quality of life change that they could possibly make, so let's get on that, boys, girls, non-binary pals, all of you. Now, the deck itself, it consists of dragons. Now, I made this deck for an event, and I wasn't expecting it to be good. I just wanted to use cards and be like, haha, this was fun. And then the deck just absolutely curb stomped my opponent, and it won so fast. And it just didn't register for me like why the deck was just so dang good. And so I wound up tinkering around with it, and then it just is devastating. And now that I've played it so much, I have an idea for why it's so devastating, and I love it. So we're rolling with 3 dragons here. We've got Dragonhawk, we've got the Ether Kite, and we've got Twin Flame Tyrant. The Dragonhawk has always been in the game. The Ether Kite and the Tyrant have sort of been mixed around, and then this is sort of what I settled on. The Dragonhawk is going to be doing direct damage to our opponent, but more importantly, it's going to be getting us a free card every turn. With that said, this isn't our super big Guapo kill card, but nonetheless, it is very good and it helps make the deck very consistent. The Ether Kite, on the other hand, is a savage beast for winning games immediately. Now, the Ether Kite has the new mechanic called Boost that makes it so that you need to hit an opponent while you have something out that provides Boost, or at least has Boost as a keyword on it. And so for the Ether Kite, I found that just running the Ether Kite did not work well enough for me. However, running the Ether Kite with the Amplifier did work out for me, because once the Amplifier came down, that enabled me to start boosting with any one of my dragons, and to build that boost up so that the Ether Kite could come down and get its boost too. When you have boost 2, meaning you hit your opponent twice while having something down with boost, it's going to deal damage equal to its power to your opponent's Planeswalker and their first creature. It also gets a temporary buff equal to the number of creatures and reinforcements you control until end of turn, but honestly that's negligible. The Ether Kite happens to have haste, which works really well for this because it's going to make it so that it's immediately able to hit your opponent and start building the boost, and if you have 2 creatures down, including the Ether Kite, then you're going to be reaching that boost 2 right away. Now, this is super special. We'll get back to the Ether Kite. We need to get back to the Ether Kite, in part because of Twin Flame Tyrant. Twin Flame Tyrant makes it so that whenever a spell or creature you control deals damage to an opponent's creature or them, you're going to double that damage. Now, what's really special about the Tyrant is that it doesn't specify combat damage. So things like the Ether Kites enter the battlefield on boost 2 is going to get doubled by the Tyrant. The Dragonhawk, every single turn and on entry, dealing damage to your opponent equal to the number of cards in your exile, is going to be doubled as well. So you're going to be doubling all that damage by having the Twin Flame Tyrant down, and that's going to lead to some super efficient, super fast aggro kills. Now, from there, I have some conversion as well. For converters, I'm running some really basic ones. I've got Leyline of the Guild Pact. This converts 6 to your Planeswalker colors. It's a monocolor Planeswalker, so maximum conversion. Cryptex converts 5 to your greatest mana bonus. This Planeswalker's greatest mana bonus is red, so we've got 6 from our Leyline, we've got 5 from Cryptex, we've got 3 from our passive, and then I showed this one a little bit earlier, the Etheric Amplifier, and that's going to be another 3. So the Etheric Amplifier is the only one that I feel like you really need for the deck, just because you want to have that other boost card come down, and having this be both boost and extra conversion is super duper sweet. For removal in the deck, because yes, removal is important, I'm running Inevitable Defeat. You can run other removal cards, but I really like this one because it gets rid of some of everything, and with mono red, you don't typically have that many options for getting rid of some of everything. You've got Chaos Warp, but that's also a masterpiece, and I just wanted to use some new cards. I've also got Wheel of Fortune. This is fantastic for making sure that you're topping up your hand to get a maximum number of cards in your hand. With this walker, you might even wind up filtering to get to this card just so that you can have a full hand, and then that makes that filtering a lot more effective. But also you can use this as hand disruption and hand hate for your opponent, because if they've got a whole bunch of mana in their hand and you don't feel like you're particularly in love with your own hand, you can just go ahead and use this to get rid of their hand, and then they draw a new one, but then they lose all of the mana. You can also use this as removal, which is just an added bonus. And then we've got Will of the Jeskai. This one is another hand-wheeling sort of effect, but with option B on the bottom, you can also return spells from your graveyard to your hand. That means that as we're playing the game, if we're filtering cards with Chandra's passive, we can wind up just getting those back by playing Will of the Jeskai and getting them back with mana, which is a super big win. And then finally, this card really made this deck, like, it was the final piece de la resistance to make it, like, super consistent, and that's this Rediscover the Way. This is a recent exclusive. It's a saga, and chapters 1 and 2 are going to let you pick 2 of the first 4 cards from your deck and then fetch them and then gain 12 mana. So just by playing this card, you're going to ultimately wind up gaining 24 mana just from chapters 1 and 2. And then chapter 3 gives your creatures double strike until end of turn. And so I found that I'll play this, I'll wind up fetching the pieces that I need in chapters 1 and 2. And then by the time chapter 3 hits, I have an Ether Kite down, I have the Tyrant down, and then they've got double strike, I use Chandra's passive, and right there, boom, it's game over. Because you really don't need that much power on your creatures in order to win. And that's one of the things that's wild about this deck, is that you don't really hit high power numbers, but yet you wind up winning so dang fast. If you think about it, the Ether Kite is an example, right? So if we've got the Ether Kite down, we've got Twin Flame Tyrant down, and we've got the Saga giving them double strike. That means that we're going to be hitting for 4 times the damage. And so with the Ether Kite, if I wind up using Chandra's second ability to get 4 reinforcements of the Ether Kite, that's going to boost the Ether Kite's power to 30, assuming nothing else cattywampus is going on. And that 30 is now going to be multiplied by 4 because of the double strike and the Tyrant. So the Ether Kite, this 6/5, is now going to be hitting for 120 damage. And that, in conjunction with the Tyrant hitting for, 3 times 4 for another 12 is 134 total, is enough to kill almost all the planeswalkers in the game. So there's a lot that you can do to make this even deadlier. You wind up having another Dragonhawk down, or if you activate your second and then you play an Ether Kite from your hand, it's just chef's kiss. So with that, I've rambled on long enough. I want to go ahead and show you guys some gameplay. I'm going to run through the training grounds with this, as this is very much a training grounds hero deck, and let you guys see how it works. Game 1 against FC Led Zepp. Well, that's cool. I know FC Led Zepp. I had been testing some other decks earlier in the day, hence me having already played 2 matches, but here is a perfect example of Chandra. So she starts the game off immediately by getting a gem match from the from the red. It gave full mana to support, so I think that is going to be my masterpiece with boost. And then I've also got a spell in my hand. Since I know I'm playing the first card, my spells tend to be cards that draw me extra cards. I actually want to keep it. It is Will of the Jeskai, so this does go exactly how I've been thinking it's going to go. And so now here I just want to go ahead, play my converter, get the black match because that gives me a good amount of mana, and start getting the boost meter ready. And then depending on what converts here, I'll either play Will of the Jeskai or I will just toss it so that I can wind up playing the Twin Flame Tyrant. So I didn't wind up getting any mana out of that match, which is fine. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and filter my hand. So I'm going to Will of the Jeskai, we're going to option A, we're going to draw 3 cards. We get Cryptex, Dragonhawk, and another Tyrant. That's all I need to win the game now. That's perfect. So I'm not going to be filtering this turn, as I'm very happy with what I've drawn. I'm already just getting oodles of mana, which is fantastic from this passive. And then here I can go ahead and safely just go ahead, take some matches, see if the Dragonhawk's Gem Destruction is going to give me even more matches. It does. I get a ley line here from the Dragonhawk. I could filter that here because I really don't actually need any more conversion. I've got what I need, but given that I'm going to be playing Will of the Jeskai, I think I'm actually going to keep it. So let's keep the ley line. Let's get the Twin Flame Tyrant down. And then this should mean that I'm going to be able to win next turn. Yeah, so I'll be at 18 loyalty. So that means that I will be able to use my second. I've got a Tyrant down. I'm going to option A just in case I can get an Ether Kite. That would be pretty sweet. I've got some Rediscover the Ways, but I don't think I'm going to be needing those this game. So unless my opponent wipes my board here, this is already game over. So the Dragonhawk alone is going to be hitting pretty hard. I guess I don't have the double strike going, so I could go for that. Let's see. Do we want to go for the double strike? Because the Dragonhawk here, I don't need the support. I'd like a kitty, please. No kitties for me. Okay, well, I've got some Rediscover the Ways. I've got the Dragonhawk. That means I'll be guaranteed to play the Dragonhawk. So that will be 10 power of Dragonhawk. If I've got 4 more, that will make it up to 30 power of Dragonhawk. Let's see. Let's see if this will be enough to win the game here. Let's do it. This one doesn't guaranteed win the game here because I don't have the double strike going. But that's okay. So we've got the Amplifier, we've got 2 Rediscover the Ways, and we got the Dragonhawk. So we're going to definitely get some more gem shenanigans happening here. So first Rediscover the Ways is going to come down, and we've got more Rediscover the Ways. Ooh, that's beautiful. Let's take both of them. I don't think I'll be able to play both of them, but it's possible. Now here, I actually don't want any of this. So I might Will of the Jeskai, just because that's the lowest mana cost card, and then I'll take Leyline of the Guild Pact, and I'm going to overflow it. So let's just destroy my opponent's gems, see if we can't get a little bit more mana out of that. We don't. We get a Dragonhawk down. We know that one's coming down. It's going to be doing its damage twice because of the Twin Flame Tyrant. We got another Rediscover the Way. There's the kitty, and there's another Dragonhawk. Beautiful. We've got another Rediscover the Way. We're going to take a kitty and the Leyline. We're going to overflow the Leyline again. See if we can't get anything pretty to come out of that. We don't. That's fine. I'm going to option B, Will of the Jeskai, because I'd like to keep my dragons in my hand, please. Thank you very much. And then we are going to just narrowly not win. Oh, no. That's enough, right? No, just narrowly. Okay, so it's off by 2, but that's okay. So there we wound up doing what? My opponent was at 134 at the start of the turn, I want to say, and then they just went to Splat Haven. So not good for them, good for me. Big win. So I'm just going to pull a card at random. It doesn't matter. I just want the mana. Because the Ether Kites entering the battlefield are going to KO my opponent. So that's game over for game number 1. It went hyper aggro. We did not wind up getting the Saga early. And so by not getting the Saga early, we just barely didn't win. You'll notice that FCL Zep was running a very high health Planeswalker. And so that was a situation where we got within 2 of knocking that Planeswalker out there. But that's okay. Let's move on to the next battle. Let's see what we've got. And let's see if we can get another beautiful example of Chandra gameplay. You'll notice that I'm not like picking specific matches. I'm just running straight into it and playing because honestly, pretty much like every match with this Planeswalker and this deck is amazing. So here I've got 2 supports. I do not want 2 supports in my starting hand. I want to get some of my creatures, so I'm going to get goodies. And I've got a 5 match to start this off. All right, let's Rediscover the Way first. So Rediscover the Way here is going to get me a 5 match. That's going to let me draw some cards. I've got a Dragonhawk and another Rediscover the Way. This is just beautiful. All right, I get my Amplifier down, meaning that if I wind up getting one of my kitties, I'm in business. And then, let's see, I'm gonna play the other Rediscover the Way here, I think. Just because I want to have just a little bit more card draw to see if I can't get into something super spicy. Let's see. The Dragonhawk would be nice. I know that I've got 2 more turns until super shenanigans happen. So let's Rediscover the Way again. We'll take the Dragonhawk, and I don't actually need the Will of the Jeskai. So I'm going to take Cryptex here because I'm just looking for that. I'm looking for that beautiful win on the double strike turn. So that's what we're going for here. We get to Rediscover the Way. Can we get a kitty? No kitties for me today, but that's fine. Let's take the Leyline of the Guild Pact and Inevitable Defeat. I'm not going to overflow the Leyline because with Karn that will destroy all gems. And I like having all the gems that are out here. I drew a spell. I'm going to filter that, see if I can't get the kitty. No kitty, that's fine. I don't actually need the kitty. We're going to play the Twin Flame Tyrant first so that all of the Dragonhawks coming down are going to do double damage on entry. And then I'm going to have the Cryptex come down last after the Dragonhawks so they don't get pinged by the Dragonhawks destroying gems. And then I'm going to let this last leyline stay in the back of my hand. I can't actually filter this turn, the leyline away, because the Dragonhawks are going to draw me cards. Let's see, how much loyalty do I have? I'm at 14, so I really just need loyalty here, because next turn's my double strike turn. So I'm going to go loyalty into blue here, because I'm almost definitely going to be getting one more loyalty, and then that's going to be game over, so long as my opponent does not destroy my battlefield. So let's see. You'll notice I've just got this 3-5 and this 10-10. It doesn't seem particularly menacing, but it's definitely enough to win the game here. Okay, so here's double strike. And then I've got another Dragonhawk in my hand, I believe. And so, let's see, I'm not going to filter away the Dragonhawk. I got the Ether Kite, that's beautiful. And then I'm going to boost up this Dragonhawk here. This Dragonhawk is now at 30 power, meaning that it's going to be swinging for 120, not including the Exile effect, which is more than enough to defeat my opponent's Karn. So we definitely have this game in the bag. This game is very, very over. So that Dragonhawk's going to come down. We're going to get the ley line down. I'm going to get the Ether Kite down. I have a few reinforcements here, but not enough for it to significantly matter, right? The Ether Kite's coming down at 15, and then this is very much game over because this is going to be hitting for 140. And yeah, big damage. Big damage. And there you see, you get down the early Saga, and then you just win when you hit Chapter 3. So I think I got the Saga down turn 1, meaning that I won turn 3. And that's very, very common for this deck. You get your Saga down early, and then you win as soon as you get that double strike trigger. Because you're getting so many cards, you're getting so much mana, makes it really, really easy to win games. So we'll do one more match. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to overload you guys with too many matches, and we'll just play it out. So here, I've got a support in my hand. I'd rather get some dragons. So I'm going to go ahead and see what comes up here. Perfect. We've got Cryptex and an Ether Kite. I like that very much. Let's see. For matches, I've got a green into black. Black into green, which will get me the Cryptex down turn 1, which is good. And then into red. Beautiful. That's going to start building up my boost. So I'll be at boost 2 at the end of this turn, meaning that if I get any more Ether Kites, I can put them to work. My opponent gets a Mega Cascade. They get rid of the dragon. That's actually kind of ideal. And they've got, scary creatures. My opponent's running a scary deck. Okay. I'm not going to discard the Will of the Jeskai just because I know for sure that Will of the Jeskai is going to get me a new hand. And I want that new hand. So let's see. For my swaps here, what is my best option? Let's go with this white loyalty blue. Get all these into red. It doesn't quite get me my dragon. That's okay. Amplifier, inevitable defeat. Okay, I like this. With what my opponent has down, I like the idea of just exiling my opponent's creatures, both of them. More specifically, the Netherglyph. So I'm actually just gonna let my hand work itself out like this, just because my opponent wound up making a really nice cascade happen there, and they built up a board position. So here we're just going to reset things, and we're going to draw a new hand and see if we can't get some of our dragons going. Okay, perfect. And then let's get the Dragonhawk down. Although my opponent has mana, I don't want to give them 6 cards. So let's see. Do I have an amazing match? Not amazing. I could ping my Cryptex again, but I don't love the idea of pinging my Cryptex again. I'd like it to convert for me one more time. So let's take the white into red here. And so let's see what happens. So here you'll see, like, this is an example of the deck running kind of slowly for it, just because I had to spend a little bit of time getting rid of my opponent's stuff, which of course is going to happen in some of our matches. This is just gorgeous. We've got a ley line that we can destroy Cryptex, big deal. But I'm going to get the Twin Flame Tyrant down, nice, and then okay, let's see what my opponent does. So now I'm in a position to just win the game pretty quickly. Let's see, I obviously have to kill my opponent's stuff first. By stuff, I just mean the Reach Critter. The Reach Critter's kind of in the way here, but that's okay. That's not a huge problem. I've got a Will of the Jeskai, which I can use to get back my removal. And then I've got a Rediscover the White. Beautiful. We're doing great here. Let's bring forward Wheel of Fortune, because that'll also get rid of my opponent's stuff if that works out. Let's see. There's no point in me using... Yeah, there's no point in me using my second ability just yet. So Cryptex is going to come down. Rediscover the Way is going to fetch me... Let's get rid of the green and black gems. See if that gets us anything good. It does not. The Ether Kite is going to get rid of the Reach critter here, I believe. So that goes bye-bye. And then do I want the removal cards? You know what? Let's see if we pull anything else good. I don't need to get my removal cards back now that I got rid of that thing. So we got another dragon. That's beautiful. And so now this next turn, we win unless my opponent wipes my board. My opponent's been doing a lot of wipey-wipies with those little crawl whip crackers, but that's fine. We've got a massive turn next turn. Unless, of course, my opponent gets the world's craziest cascade again and makes something super bad happen. Do they? They do not. All right. Game over. Cool beans. I won't have double strike this turn, but that doesn't particularly matter because the critters themselves are going to be putting in the work. So Rediscover the Way. We get to fetch 2 cards. Another Ether Kite. Lovely. Let's go Ether Kite into Leyline just so we can try and definitely make that Ether Kite come down. Excellent. No, I'm not getting rid of the Ether Kite because now the Ether Kite is going to win me the game. So we're going to bring these all up. We're going to use our second on the Ether Kite. And then the Ether Kite's entry to the battlefield is just going to kill my opponent immediately because we're going to be entering. It's going to get 6. That'll bring it to 39. We've got some reinforcements. That's going to bring it into the 40s. So that means it's going to be pinging my opponent for 80 some odd, not including the fact it's going to be attacking for another 40 some odd. I mean, we're doing like close to 200 damage this turn if you factor in the Dragonhawk coming down as well. And so, yeah, this deck is kind of inevitable. Did I take damage that game? Yes, I did. Did my opponent play a lot of removal that game? Yes, they did. Did I have to spend a little bit of time focusing on clearing the board state a little bit? Yes, absolutely. But was that okay? It was okay, Other Michael. It was okay. It was great. So, anywho, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. It's been a long time since I have been able to sit down and make a video, but I'm glad that the video that I got to make was the deck that I had the most fun with during my convalescence. So, I've got a few decks lined up to share with you all. I, of course, am sharing an exclusive saga in here, so I want to thank Webcore for sending me that so that I could tinker around and play with it. It was very fun to play with that one. There's another saga coming out pretty soon that I'm really excited to show you guys. It's my next favorite deck that I've been playing with during my convalescence. I've been testing it out. It's really fun. Really, really fun. So anyways, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.